Hi everyone. So my name is Thomas, and my colleague Beata also is here in case you have any questions related to our exchange program between ISEP and SIIT. So first, let me share my presentations. I hope it will work. Okay. Okay. It's okay. Can everyone see it?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay. So you can notice you have the logo of ISEP here. Let me switch to the next slide. So by the way, so I am Thomas, in charge of international relations, and my colleague Beata, she's more in charge of students mobility. So if you join ISEP, for sure you will send message with an exchange, interact with Beata for more details. Okay. So here you have the agenda of my presentation. So first I will start with an overview of ISEP and also explain a little bit about the educations in France in general, but ISEP more precisely. A few words about international partnership and corporate partnership. If you're interested by joining some research project, I will say a few things about it. And then I think if you come to Paris, of course, you would like to have a fruitful and a great student life. So I will say something about it too. So what is ISEP? So ISEP is a French graduate engineering school in digital technologies. We have mainly subjects like computer science, cybersecurity, electronics, telecommunications, and Internet of Things, image processing, data science, or artificial intelligence. If you're looking for civil engineering, let's say mechanical engineering, so this is not ISEP. So ISEP is mainly focused on digital technology. A little bit about our history. So first you have to know that ISEP, it's a non-profit private graduate school, which means we have a project for our school, which is to train more engineers in digital technologies. So we need also to extend our campus. I will present it later, but so far we have 2 campuses. So and we need some fund for that. So as a non-profit associations, so if we have any benefits, we use it for the development of our schools and for all the students that we train. So ISEP was founded in 1955 by the Catholic University of Paris. Our main degree is a master engineering degree. So it's a postgraduate degree accredited by the national accreditation body named CTI here in France. So since the beginning, we are accredited by this national accreditation body. So it's allow us to deliver what we call here in France the diplôme d'ingénieur, which is also a master degree. So as you know, it's a national degree, so it's fully recognized by the French state. As we say here in France, again, it's 5 years in higher education, so bac plus 5, as we said here. In terms of size, ISEP has about 1,700 students, and each class size is about 400 students. So, for example, here in 2021, we graduate about 490 students. Because we exist since 1955, so we have a strong active alumni network, about 10,000 members. And each year, normally, except COVID time, of course, we receive many international students, including those who are coming from SIIT. Okay, and you can see at the bottom here a few logos, which is linked with ISEP, so CTI, of course. We are a member of different federations and conferences and associations. And maybe for you, as international students, you can see the logo of Campus France, in which we have 2 stars related to welcoming international students. So where ISEP is located? ISEP is located in Paris. We have 2 campuses, one in the heart of Paris, next to Quartier Latin, maybe for those who know, with many shops, many well-known and luxurious shops and restaurant and bar. a lot of students in Paris downtown. In this campus, we also host the Stanford Overseas Program in Paris. Maybe you know Stanford University in California. They have many branches spread around the world. And the one in France is in Paris and is with us. So which means each year, each quarter, if you would like, you can discuss with and interact with American students from this well-known university. The other campus is not too far from the first campus. It's located in a city in the southwest border of Paris. You can join by using the metro line 12. It takes about 20 minutes. It's located in a city named Issy-les-Moulineaux. So Issy-les-Moulineaux is what we call here in Paris a smart city since many years now, so 1990. You have many and several French headquarters of well-known IT companies like Microsoft, Cisco, Huawei, Orange, etc., Capgemini. So for our students, this city allows them to find easily internship, to interact with many engineers, and also for their career, it's a good city for them. Of course, our students find jobs everywhere. I mean, in all France, in Europe, and also around the world. This is not the point, but you can see the context on our environment is good for studying IT. For those who join ISEP, if it is necessary, and I would recommend you, of course, to take some subject related to French language. In this case, you will learn basic survival French and French language. And it allows you to interact with many Parisians, which is a good way to learn more about French culture, to discover Paris, maybe in France. And it's good for you to know a new language. For that, we are working with a French institute named ILCF. So it's next to the campus number 1. It's Paris downtown. It's a huge campus with many international students too. It's located inside the Catholic University of Paris. So you can discover this when you join ISEP and select the French language subject. So about educations at ISEP. So ISEP offer a diverse education programs, okay? So our main program is the engineering graduate program, which lead to the engineering master degree. Of course, for those who are coming just for 1 semester or 1 year of exchange, you cannot obtain the master engineering because you need to stay at least 2 years with us in order to obtain it. If you're interested, of course, you can contact Pishlika, and of course we can discuss with you directly if needed. We have a dedicated program for innovation and entrepreneurship, because we know that young people have many good ideas, and some of them are quite have this fiber for creating their own companies. So we help our students, if necessary, to set up their own company. We have a full path for that, from taking and helping them to set up a business plan, and the financial issues could be solved by some free interest loan. If you're interested, you can talk to us, and we will give you more details before joining ISEP, of course. So we have a post-master program, postgrad. So we call it the specialized master. The one that we provide, and it's well known in France, it's the one related to data protections. Maybe you heard about RGPD issues in Europe. So our special master is mainly focused on data privacy and data protection for everyone in France, and in France in general, and in Europe, of course. The other master specialized is in cybersecurity. So if you're interested by the expertise and deep knowledge about cyber, so please feel free to join after your master degree. So after a master degree, it is possible for those who are keen to go for the path leading to a PhD to join our doctoral program. All our doctoral PhD students, they are registered with the Sorbonne University, as we call it. So it's located in Paris downtown, and they are carrying out their PhD research work with us in our labs. And of course, because IT is evolving quickly and new technologies, new programming languages, new processors is developing each month. So we provide continual educations for engineers, for adults who need to upgrade their knowledge and competencies related to IT. If we come back to educations, so you can see on this slide how it works in France in higher education. So after finishing your senior high school, normally all students join for 5 years of students to get the master degree or the master engineering degree. So for joining ISEP, so after 18 years old, so after finishing your senior high school, you join for 2 years of what we call a preparatory cycle. So it's 2 years of intensive learning of maths, physics, and ITs, and also humanities. After these 2 years, normally, usually you have what we call an examinations. It's a competitive examinations, and you have to be ranked among the best students before joining 3 years of engineering cycle here in blue. During these 3 years in the engineering cycle, of course, you will learn many fundamental courses related to IT, electronics, programming, telecommunications, etc., along with humanities and languages. And then after these 3 years, if everything goes well, you obtain your master engineering degree. And after that, so most of our students, they get a job in private sector, in industry, in public sector through a civil servant if they attend some examinations. Otherwise, they can apply and join a PhD or join the postgraduate program, the specialized master, as I mentioned previously. So at ISEP, so let us focus on year 4 and year 5 in the engineering cycle. So we have so far 5 specializations fully taught in English. So over 2 years, if you join ISEP and you would like to get a degree, so you can attend these 5 specializations in blue taught fully in English. Of course, those who are coming for exchange, they are going to select subjects among the different specializations mentioned here taught in English. Those who are in orange color, they are partially taught in English. Of course, depending on the subjects, I will show you later the percentage of courses taught in English. So maybe sounds familiar to all of you. So software engineering, embedded system, wireless telecommunications, and Internet of Things systems. Business or data intelligence, digital security networks. So if you are interested by this kind of subjects related to these 5 specializations, so I invite you to join. Otherwise, you can join those who can manage a little bit French, information system, e-health, innovation, and entrepreneurship. So coming to the exchange program, so because with ISEP, we have these bilateral agreements. So up to 5 students can join ISEP. Of course, if more students would like to join, please feel free to ask your international officer to contact us so we can accept more after discussions. In terms of date, so the first semester begin from September till end of January, mid-January, end of January, depending on the year. And the second semester begin early February, end of January sometime, and end in end of June. The deadline for receiving the applications, it's the last day of May. If you would like to come for our website in the sections named Exchange Students. So I think your international office know how to nominate you and how to help you to apply online, to select with your professors which courses are more suitable for you, because you come to ISEP, you will study hard, of course, and get back some credits and some marks. And of course, we send at the end of your study, your stay with us, you will receive your transcript, of course. In terms of language, normally, because we are partners, we trust fully the recommendations from your administrative staff and professor about your level in English. Normally, it's a B2 level, so I suppose you know your level in English. Otherwise, you can take a test. It's IELTS or TOEFL. So it's best to have a test. Otherwise, we can manage with some recommendations about your English level from your professors or from your international office. For those who would like to attend French language, of course, there is no need to have any level, because the French language here with the Catholic University of Paris is divided in subgroups. So even if you know nothing, you can join and you will be in the group of beginner. Okay. If you would like to attend the first year courses in the engineering cycle, so the year 3 courses, is it mainly taught in French? So it is recommended to have at least a VB2 level in French in this case. Okay, so I think on this slide, I already mentioned a lot of things. So courses are taught in English, so mainly in the last year of engineering cycle, so which means year 5. In year 4, we have 90% of courses taught in English. In year 3, so only in French. Again, possibility to take the French language or some humanities courses as management. So for those who would like to carry out a research project, so it's possible also to select along with your study in technical subject a sizable research project. So it could go from 5 credits to 5 ECTS, so credits is ECTS for us, to 30 ECTS for a full semester project. So some students take, let's say, 10 ECTS of research project, and they are working 2 days with a professor per week. It's a good starting point for students who are looking later for going for a PhD, for example. For those who also would like to attend an internship with our corporate partners, it's possible. But it's only possible after studying with us one semester. Of course, internship will be not provided to the students. We receive many offers, okay, from our corporate partners. So you need to apply with a resume, a statement of purpose, or motivation letter. Of course, if you are selected for an interview, you have to go for the interview. If you know French language, it's best, because like that you have a wide selections of internship subjects. Otherwise, some company accept only English speaking students, but it's more difficult. Okay. To give you a broad idea about our subjects offer or course offer, you can check on this link. So it will provide you different informations related to applications, nominations, deadlines, and also the course catalog. So what about our partners? So ISEP have more than 150 partners spread around 5 continents. We are one of the top engineering graduate school which send most of the students abroad. As I mentioned previously, because our students can join for 5 years study at ISEP, some of them already go to study abroad during year 2. And then they can go again in year 4 or year 5, depending on what they plan for their future career. Okay. So talking about corporate partners, of course, as I mentioned, it's mainly related to internship and of course jobs. Oh, sorry, I have to switch off why I have this call. Sorry. Corporate partners, they are also joining ISEP in our pedagogy. They are directly involved in professional educations, and they are also involved in the integrations of our graduates. Each year, we receive about 200 lecturers who are coming to ISEP and deliver mainly final year course. So if you're attending ISEP next year, for example, some subjects, maybe, of course, you will see our professors, but you will see also many lecturers coming from our corporate partners. They provide a lot of internship, they provide jobs, of course. With them, we organize many interview simulations because you need to prepare if you would like to go for an internship or for your future job. They are mentoring the class, for example. So each year, there are several companies, HR people or engineer, they're coming and they are dealing with our students to make them realize what is the industrial world, how to integrate. So I think it's good for all students to be trained like that because at least they have to find a job. Okay, so thanks to all this, 100% of our students find a job within 3 months after being graduated. Most of them work in Paris regions. A few of them continue to work abroad or continue with some other studies. A few logos, just to know, to let you know who are our corporate partners. So from IT companies, of course, to some other companies like LVMH, L'Oreal. You have some banks, okay, some telecommunication companies, of course. So I'll let you check the different logos. Okay, let's go to research. For those who really would like to go for research or take, as I said previously, 5 credits of research, so it's possible. You have to check the learning agreement. You have a section dedicated to that. So our researchers, they are working mainly in the different area mentioned here, from artificial intelligence to micro and nano electronics. Of course, you have computer-related subjects. You have cybersecurity related subjects. You have signal and image processing related subjects. At ISEP, research is mainly applied research. Okay, for example, in image and signal processing, we are working mainly in the biomedical domains. We are processing image coming from health equipments. For the hardware or electronics research, we're working with Li-Fi through H2020 Horizon project, which is funded by European Union. So many projects are applied projects dedicated to research. For that, if you would like to have more information, I invite you to check our website. So in the menu, and you check on research pages. Okay, you can find more information about the domain, the professors in charge, and what kind of project they're working on. If you're interested, so you can mention it in the learning agreement. Okay, last but not least, because I think you are coming for studying, but studying with us, it's 5 weeks a day from Monday to Friday, from 9 or 8 a.m. till 6 p.m., maybe 8 p.m. But the rest of the time you are free, of course, you have some homework, some project to deliver, but you have also a lot of time to have a full student life here in Paris. So first things to do maybe is to join some student associations. Okay, maybe it helps you to interact more with our French students. From those who would like to join the IT tech associations, so I invite you to join Garage ISEP, for example. For those who are keen to work with some companies, but because you already have some knowledge in French and you masterize the process of working with companies, so you can join Junior ISEP. So, but French is required because this student association is a company managed by students. So they are dealing with companies here in France. And for that, of course, you need to interact with the company in French. If you would like to join the sailing club, it's possible. So each weekend, so they take the car and they join the sea part of France, which is not too far, 2 or 3 hours of driving. And then you can sail on the Channel Sea, okay? And you can see the they won many cups in the past, and I think it's still the case this year. Otherwise, some other clubs, so more than 30 associations and student clubs could. I am pretty sure that you can find one suitable for you. In terms of living costs, living expenses in France, because we are in Paris, so maybe a little bit expensive compared to some cities not in, so in the suburb of Paris. So you can find here good estimations of the living expenses. So it's between 700 to, there is no limit, but let's say 1,100 per month. Most of the part will go to housing, food and foods, then transportations. The housing office could help you to find a suitable accommodations. But of course, you have to keep the number in mind because otherwise it's not possible. Of course, we have some double or single room, some private flats. There are many private student residences. We have many links and many contact with them, so it helps a lot. I'm not sure, but I think there is a network of Thailand students who are living in Paris, so it could help also. So my last slide, it's about a few figures about ISEP. So I think there is no need to say more. I'll let you read it. So if you have any questions, myself and Beata, we're here to answer your questions. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much to Professor Thomas. I'm not sure whether Beata will have something to add. According
yes,
to
maybe just about the choice of courses. So as you could see, normally in English we have essentially courses of the, as Thomas said, in the 4th and 5th year. I think you are mostly undergraduate students, but don't worry about it. We are checking your background, your prerequisites for courses. So don't hesitate to apply, and we can discuss to check if you can attend courses we are providing. So don't be worried about it. I think it's reachable for undergraduate students. So it depends on your background, what you have done before. So don't worry about it.
All right, so thank you very much for the presentation from Professor Thomas and also from additional information from Beata, who kindly joined us today. Now we have around 10 minutes for the question for Q&A in case if student here, if you have some question to ask, because so far at the moment we have 5 SIIT students who are joining ISEP for the student exchange program. Yeah, so far I'm not sure whether have you sorry, do you have chance to meet them?
Yes, I met them when they arrived the first week, and so they seem happy. So I think everything is going well for them. Of course, for future students, if you are interested, I think it's a good thing to contact them directly. It's the best thing to discuss with them and to have their experience.
So far,
I think next
time,
maybe I can add something. I think next time we invite them to join this global weeks in case they have some questions, some direct questions to students to students. I think it's good. Yeah, next time we should try
that's a good idea.
to find a
But
good time.
maybe for the next batch of the student, because next time that will be next year again. But so far, I think that they enjoy life in Paris. Otherwise, they will take us already about the problem facing. So I think that they are quite enjoying, and this time
I think they learn a lot, especially you know, because I think it's worldwide now that French people we are discussing about retirement, and you have some events which happen now in Paris and in many cities. I think they discover a lot, which is good. You have some strike demonstrations, and
right.
But it's fine. It's fine.
I think students will get a lot of experience because Paris is a big city where include lots of tourists, lots of people from everywhere around the world. So once you should seek for the chance to visit Paris. So I have some questions from some student who may wondering to know about for the English requirement, which you state that B2 level. So is it possible if that score was already expired? Because the thing is that when our students submit an English score to study in SIT, some of them might already submit in the first or the second year. So during the time that they apply to join the exchange program, which is the last semester of their fourth year, the score may be expired already. Would it be possible if they submit those score, the expired score, but of course it should be in the requirement, I mean B2 level or something?
Yeah, as I said in my presentation, there is no issue. First things, of course, it's good to have a score. So even if it is over, it's let's say in 2021, we accept it. I mean, it will not change a lot of things. And along with it, if you have a recommendation letter about the level of English for your students, we accept it too. So don't worry about the level in English. We truly trust your recommendations. So if you say the students can attend and they have the equivalence of B2 level, it's okay for us.
All right, thank you very much. Because actually for the first screening from SIT, of course we require English proficiency from our student, which is almost about B2 level, but just only in some score, maybe a little bit less than, but the B2 level. But we normally ask the student to keep the score up to B2 level. And in case if, for example, the score is already expired, or if it's not meet the B2 level, just a little bit gap, then we will ask our English training unit to issue another recommendation letter to certify that, okay, this student will be able to communicate in English and to learn English and something like this. Yeah, so I think that would be no problem if you have no problem about the valid score.
No problem.
If it was the essential that the student is able to understand and be able to attend and follow courses. It's more for the students, so to be able really to communicate, to understand, and to do exams and so on.
All right.
So for us, it's okay.
All right. And for housing, we understand that Paris is big city, and maybe some housing may be a bit difficult to find. So will ISEP International Office have the list of housing or facilitate them in terms of searching for the housing, or is there any organization or a group of association, something like this, to support for housing?
Yeah, so for housing, we have a housing office. After applying and admitted at ISEP, so the students have to contact our housing office by email. So it's logement@isep.fr. And then the housing will check the availabilities of different residences, provide some links in which many students already booked some rooms there. And then it's so this is how it works for the housing. And of course, we have some fees maybe involved. So, but we will inform the students directly. So all the housing is managed by housing office. Yes.
Right. Okay. Okay. Seems to be fine in terms of searching for housing, right?
Yes.
Right.
And I also said that I think several students, they know many platforms now, you know, Airbnb, some other kind of students network from Thailand. They have also their own path to find accommodations. I think a lot of students now have many resources to find good accommodations according to their budget. So the main thing is to make sure that it's a good and real, let's say, networks, not a fake one. So it could be tricky sometimes. Yes.
I see. I see. All right. And how about the minimum or maximum credit requirement for one exchange student to join in each semester? Is there any minimum or maximum requirement in terms of the credits?
Yeah, it's mentioned in the learning agreement, but Beata can confirm. So we require that the students, they are not coming here for vacations only. So which means we have to take a minimum of 15 ECTS and up to 33 ECTS. This is still the case, Beata?
30,
Yeah, so
30
for-
or 33?
33.
33
Can
credit.
be the maximum.
Yeah, this is the maximum. Usually our
Yeah.
students attend 30 ECTS. This is the requirement for one semester. This is normal. 30 ECTS, it's one semester. But if
Okay.
you but your student can select less. So the minimum is 15.
Right, because your system is ECTS, right?
Yes. So
Yeah.
one subject is about 5 ECTS. So 6
Okay.
subjects.
Yeah, so for your student, maybe so full load for our students is 30 ECTS.
So
Okay,
one
your
course
students are
is, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So one course is 5 ECTS, right?
Yes.
general, yeah.
Yeah,
Most
because
of them.
your ECTS, 5 ECTS can be comparing to 3 SIT credit
Yeah.
as well. So that means
Yes.
one course per one course. Okay. Yeah, that's great.
You can see one ECT, 5 ECTS, it's about 40 to 45 face-to-face teaching. Yes.
And all courses are on-site class, right? No online class.
It's mainly on site, except you know, if COVID it's coming
Just
back.
only the some.
It's
Yeah,
face to face.
there is some
It's face to face. The rule is face to face now in France because we
Right.
understand that online is not good for everyone, for the teacher, for the students. You know, it's boring after 2 hours.
Right. And also have found your presentation talk about the internship opportunity. This is available for the bachelor degree student as well, or only for the master, or is there any condition about doing the internship?
There is one condition, it's to study with us for one semester. This is the conditions, and then there is no differences if they are bachelor students or master students, because even our students with a bachelor at not a master level, some of them look for internship too.
So that
it's
means they need
up the
to,
students.
sorry,
It's
so
up
that
to
means
the
they need to attend coursework for one semester first, and then after
Yeah.
that they can do the internship. They cannot do
Yes.
it parallel, like taking coursework and do the internship. Cannot, right?
No, it's
Okay.
not
Generally
possible.
in France, yeah, an internship is a full time.
And is there
Yeah.
any duration requirement, like for minimum how long, or maximum, minimum, and maximum for the period of the internship?
So there is a maximum according to the French law, is 6 months max per academic year. So this is the law. And then if you go for just 1 month or 2 months, there is no company that we would like to have them because it's too short to learn something. They just join, maybe learn the state of the art, and then it's over. So it's almost I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's quite difficult to go for just 2 or 3 months. Most of the company were looking for 5 to 6 months.
Yeah, but for this company, will ISEP help student contact to the company, right? After they
It's
finish.
it's a little bit different. Actually, looking for internship is like looking for a job. So which mean, but company knows how it works. We receive many offers, okay, on our
Okay.
platform, internal platform, but the student needs to apply. They apply
Okay.
with a resume, motivation letters, and then if they are selected by the company, they have to go for an interview, mainly in French language, most of them. Some could accept English-speaking students, but most of them will go for a French interview.
And I
If,
am what? Yeah.
if a
please.
student is selected, so he will go for 5 to 6 months, and the student will receive a stipend.
Oh, from the company. So that means their status will be ended from ISEP and transferred to the company, right? Or still under like a status of ISEP exchange
In fact,
and something?
students, what is important, students in France, the status of interns is well known, it's well done. So students, international students who are going for an internship, they keep their student status, but they are authorized to work.
Right.
So, but they are still students, so they don't need to change their stay permit or visa or anything. So they are still students at ISEP, but even if they are full load.
All right. Because I'm just wondering in terms of extending the visa after, I mean, complete.
Yeah, so
like
this
90
may
days.
be, yeah, this may be tricky. It's better to maybe if the student think about doing internship afterwards, it's maybe better to apply for 1 year with us, so that when he will ask for visa in Thailand, he will get a visa for 1 year. So
Right.
there
So
will
that
be
means
no
they should.
problem then for extending.
Right. So that means they should apply for the, I mean, long-term period of ISEP student exchange
Yes.
student, and after that, even though they will split their period of study and doing the internship, but they will be joining internship still with the visa and under the status of
student visa.
student.
Yeah,
All
it's,
right,
it's always a student visa, always a student visa. Yes.
All right, such a very useful information for today, but unfortunately, time's up at the moment for now.
We see.
But I believe that
It's
we
a
could have
pity.
more.
We have so many things to say.
Yeah, so many things. So we can have more online meeting for further activities or the detail between SIT and ISEP again. So on behalf of SIT, thank you very much to Professor Thomas and also Beta for taking very good care to our student, current student, and also previous student as well. And also thank you for joining us today. We hope that you will join us again for the next session in the near future.
Yeah, for sure. No issues. Thank you, Pishalika. Thank you
Thank
to
you very
everyone.
much.
Thank you very much
Okay.
for organizing this.
Right. So have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, so everyone, now we already finished the session from ISEP from France, and now our honor guest from Denmark, it's already here with us. Yeah, so good evening to Professor Henrik from Southern
Denmark.
SDU, University of Southern Denmark. Yeah, because we always call SDU. Then I just try to think about the full name. So how are you, Professor Henrik?
I am great, Pishalika. Of course, I'm great. It's always an honor and a pleasure to do presentation at the SIIT. This time online. Last time I was there physically.
Yeah.
And also just meeting you last week, right, in Bangkok.
Yeah. We just had a meeting last week, but now you are already in Denmark, right?
Yeah, I was only 3 nights in Bangkok. That was it for that time.
All right. Such a
but it was great.
meeting. Yeah. So
it's always very nice to be in Thailand.
All right. So SDU, just for our student information, SDU is one of the university who received the biggest number of SIT students in this year for joining the student exchange program. So it means that SDU is one of the popular destination for SIT students to join the exchange program. So today it's very good opportunity for you guys here in this Zoom meeting, that you will have chance to hear the information about University of Southern Denmark, from Professor Henrik, who kindly join us every time when we request. Professor Henrik will join us either online or at SIT in physical. So today we are happy to welcome Professor Henrik from the University of Southern Denmark, who I believe prepared many interesting information to share with our students. Actually, your session will start at 5 o'clock, but if Professor Henrik, if you are ready, we can start a bit earlier. Okay.
No problem. I am ready. So we can do that.
Okay.
So I will try to share my screen.
Sure. Okay. So if you are ready, please welcome Professor Henrik from the University of Southern Denmark. Thank you very much.
So everybody, welcome to a presentation about possibly going to Denmark for study abroad to do exchange. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
That's great. That was just what I wanted to hear. I am, as mentioned, I'm Professor Henrik, and I am taking care of all the exchange that goes to the Faculty of Engineering. So I am representing the Faculty of Engineering. And as you can see on the first screen here, we are actually really great within robotics. I think we are among the world leaders actually within industrial robotics, but it means that there are a lot of activities going on within that field here. And a very funny thing that I can mention here today is that actually one of our best professors within artificial intelligence, he's actually from Thailand. Okay, so I am from University of Southern Denmark, and there are actually more possibilities for you to visit us as a part of your studies, because we can offer exchange semesters, which actually means that you can come and stay for a whole semester, typically following courses. We also have a summer school that is located in August and is 2 weeks. And then we have a very special offer actually for the students that are interested in doing research while they are actually doing exchange. It's mostly for master students, but it means that you can also come for a period to spend time in a research group actually. Could be within robotics, for example. So of course, going abroad is a lot of things, right? One thing is the academic part of it should be good. Of course, you should gain knowledge, but the other part is also to experience something that is completely new. And I know from my student, I know from myself that when it gets really fun is when things are really not like home, right? And for now, it appears like actually Scandinavia is becoming more and more popular, not just in Thailand as a destination, but basically all over the world. I was just, I mentioned that also to Pichalika. We met last week in Bangkok, and I met with a lot of universities there. And they can also see the trend for now that Scandinavia is where students want to go. And of course, there can be many reasons for that. But I think that it's really, really much different from what you will experience in Thailand. So just a little bit about Denmark before I tell about the university. So you can say that Denmark is a true democratic country run by a political system, but we are also a kingdom. And we can laugh a little bit because we don't have a king. We actually have a queen, and the royal family and the queen that people in Denmark are quite fond of, because they are actually doing a really good job for us, representing Denmark among the whole world. So that's a very typical Danish culture thing, that we respect them because they are doing a good job, right? We don't respect them just because they are royal, but because we like what they do. In Denmark, because the Danish society have been, existing for many years and was rich at an early stage. So that's why you can see a lot of really interesting historic architectural buildings. They are actually these kind of castles all over Denmark, also very close to the city of Odense, where our campus is located. So if you are interested in historical buildings, well, there's good options to see them in Denmark. And also maybe you have heard about, when we talk about Scandinavia, about the Vikings, right? And many of the things we heard about the Vikings were not really nice things, but at least what we can say is that they were really good in trading. And maybe they actually laid the whole foundation for why the northern countries actually are doing so good. So we are also the country of Vikings, and we have more museums where you can study that if you're interested. So when you come to Denmark, again, I can say it's really different than Thailand. And one thing, of course, is the weather. I like to go to Thailand in my vacation, and I can promise you I have actually been to a lot of the islands, nearly all over Thailand, because you have a very stable weather. Okay, we have to take care of the rain, but that's it. In Denmark, it's different, because in Denmark, we have in some parts of the year, we have quite low temperatures, and most of the years, actually, we do have snow. And that, of course, can be a nice experience for you to see that. But you will see that the temperature actually goes from nearly 0 degrees and up to 30 degrees. In the summer, it's actually really nice here because it's hot, but it's not too hot. We also have some rain, and we also have some cloudy days, but it's actually quite nice here. One thing that I have noticed that I miss even when I'm going to your country where I like the heat and the sun. But one thing I'm missing is actually the very, very fresh air we have here. You can feel it straight off when you come here, when you breathe, it's just so fresh. Also, one thing you might experience when you come to Denmark is there's a very unique architecture going from, of course, the old part of the cities to very, very architectural wonders actually around more of the cities. So you can walk from just one street along and you can see that the architecture actually changed 100%. We have another thing that you don't have in the same sense actually, because we have seasons here, which actually means that the nature looks different all over the year. So 4 times a year, you can say that the nature dresses in a new way, because we have winter, summer, spring, and autumn. And the picture you can see actually mirrors more or less how the forest would look during these seasons. So that's something you don't have. You have the rainy season and the non-rainy season, as far as I know. So coming to Denmark, there are a lot of nice things actually, because, well, we have free education. It's also for free, of course, to come and study at University of Southern Denmark as a part of the agreement we have. But we also have free healthcare. And as soon as you are registered in Denmark, you would actually also be entitled to free healthcare. So if something happens to you, you can get to the hospital for free, no problem. But of course, the Danish society also benefits from this. The picture you see down there, this is how a Danish family looks, and typically not that large. Mostly they are just 4 in a family, 2 kids. I think it's most often here. The picture that you see of the building there is actually very close to the picture I showed you before, which was Christianshavn, which was the very old harbor part. This is just on the other side, so you can see how it's actually completely different walking from one part of the city to another. If you know where Denmark is located, that's great. If you don't know, you can actually see on the map down there where Denmark is, of course, in Scandinavia, which is, we tend to say that we are on top of Germany, but of course that is in the north part of Europe. It's really nice in Denmark. It's easy. If you speak good English, it's easy to get along because everybody speaks English in Denmark, and that goes from kids from 10 years and up to older people of 80. Simply everybody speaks English more or less at the same level as I do, or even better. So what you maybe don't know is that we also have nice beaches in Denmark. It's just that we can not utilize them in the same way as you can, because we only have weather for 3 months that actually would allow us to go and swim by the sea. But beside from that, the beaches are actually really great. And if you're into surfing, we have some of the best surfing actually in the world available. Maybe you also know that Denmark and Scandinavia is known for the very minimalistic design also. And the pictures you see below, that's how a middle income Danish family would actually live. I can say from my own case that, and I made this presentation before my son, he bought his house, but his house looks exactly like this actually. So one thing you would also notice in Denmark is that there are so many bikes, and even the cities are actually organized, so it's quite easy to bike. And a lot of the exchange students, they buy a used bike or rent a bike while they're here, and also bike like the rest of the society. And then you might think, is that because they cannot afford to have a car? No, that's actually not the case. The case is, I think most families actually do have 2 cars, but they are very concerned about healthy living. And healthy living includes also that you have to move around. And that's why a lot of people, they actually bike to their work every day. So they can actually both get transportation to and from the work, but they can also train at the same time. So you will be surprised how many bikes you actually see here. Also, of course, healthy living is a concern in Denmark. So you would actually, if you go to the supermarkets, you will find a little bit more expensive food, because that's the food that are prepared and made and produced in a way. So it's more organic and it's more healthy. And then there are the ordinary foods that you can also buy. So that's a typical Danish culture thing. We are concerned about healthy organic living. Denmark, if you are interested in sustainability in general, you can learn a lot in Denmark, because Denmark is once again ranked as the world's most sustainable, and that's by Yale and Columbia University. So I think it would be okay to think that that they made a proper evaluation of that. So we are very much into green energy, and energy in general is something, and knowledge about energy in general is something that is exported from Denmark to all over the world. So I think in the future, maybe Denmark is going to have a huge business that is actually coming from the knowledge of green energy. Also at the university, of course, there are a lot of research within these areas. This basically, if you know, there's an organization called OECD, and they typically look at how living are around the world, and they have a kind of ranking system, and every year the ranking changes a little bit, but you would always find the ranking of Denmark at a very high level, meaning that it's one of the countries in the world where people seem to have the easiest living and most happy living. So that's also something you can experience here. Maybe you can say that Danes do not have so much to worry about, because the society takes care of a lot of things. So that could also be an interesting thing for you to come and see how this society is actually made, because it's different than the Thai society. It doesn't mean that it's better or worse, but it's different, so it will give some advantages. So that was just a little bit about Denmark for a beginning, because I would claim that that's also a very important part of going abroad, actually. I mean, the environment where you're going to be. And in general, I mean, for you, I don't know if you are actually now just considering if you should go, or you have already made the decision to go, but I would actually recommend that you go. Not so much for the academic, of course, because you could stay at home, learn a lot of stuff, right? But for the personal development that you actually get. I would claim that you get an upgrade of yourself if you go abroad for a semester, because you have to realize that you will suddenly be all by yourself. Your family, your friends, everybody are not close, so you have to manage everything by yourself. But you know, every time you challenge yourself, you also develop yourself. And I've actually seen a lot of my students, when they go abroad, I can feel the difference from before they go to when they come back. So it's a gift that you give yourself. It's not just a lot of fun, because it's truly a lot of fun. And you know that exchange students are always meeting up with tons of other exchange students. I think it's the easiest way at all to get new friends very quickly. That's to go on exchange. But also this personal development that you actually get from it is great, actually. The picture is very close to where I'm sitting. I'm actually sitting in one of the windows that you can see on this picture. And it's a quite new faculty. It was built 5 years ago. So it also means that all our labs and facilities are quite new. And it's actually high tech. And I know a lot of the research colleagues around the world envy us that we have so great labs. What I hear from the exchange students that are here is that they actually find the teaching and the learning both fun and involving, and they do believe they learn a lot. So that's great that you can combine that, both at an academic high level, but also a lot of experience and fun, right? We have 300 international students, more or less, sorry, international engineering subjects. We have 4,000 students. At the university, we have 20,000, but at the Faculty of Engineering, we have 4,000, and we have 500 international students. We have 7 international bachelors, 10 international masters, and 17 different exchange programs for you. So we have 2 campuses, actually. The one is placed in the middle of Denmark, and that's quite convenient, because it in a very short time, you can get to other parts of Denmark. That's the main campus. And you can see under the headline Campus Odense, I also placed a statement saying easy and flexible exchange. And I do believe that that can be quite important for you, that when you have to organize your stay and when you start your stay, it shouldn't give you too many troubles. And I can promise you that if you compare to other universities, you might still have some troubles when you go abroad, because courses can be overlapping and these kind of things can happen all over. But I do believe that one of the easiest stays you would have if you come to us, because we have organized everything about exchange students coming in a very well way. We have, as mentioned, really nice facilities, and we have really many English taught courses to choose from. You can see there's a list to the right where it's mentioned the subjects, overall subjects. The facilities are great. We have, if you're interested in, and maybe you're going to study within drone technology, there are courses within drones. We have actually our own airport very close to the city. We also have an Industry 4.0 lab where students can actually develop themselves and their skills within these areas. And in general, there are a lot of nice places where students can sit and work around the university. But we also have, oh, you can see if you look at the picture, the map in the top corner, you can actually see the red spot. It's Denmark, you see there. That the red spot actually shows that we are located in the middle and also in the south part, and that's of course why we are University of Southern Denmark. So the other campus, which is located closer to the German border, so that would actually give you a possibility to go to Germany very quick. That is your interest. It's a little bit smaller campus, but with far more international students. So in case actually that the courses down there would actually fit you, then you would truly have an international experience. So that's great. But of course, it's a little bit smaller campus, so there are limited number of courses, but still many courses within the subject areas that you can see below in the right side. Right. Again, the facilities are great, and it's a waterside campus, so it has a very, very nice location actually. So these three boxes actually tell you which option you have. I already mentioned it. There are the exchange semesters where you can come and follow courses for the whole semester. You can also do the thesis. You can join a research program and work together with researchers in a lab or whatever they are doing, or you can come in the summer school. So for the exchange semesters, I can start by saying that all the courses is quite easy to find in our webpage. So you can find both which courses is available, and you can also find the course descriptions, because typically students would actually need the course descriptions to talk to their professors with later on. There's a 100% flexible study path. And what I mean by that is that you can pick any course you would like to follow. Of course, you should check the qualification, because in each of the course descriptions are mentioned what kind of qualification is needed. And in principle, you are free to pick any course you would like. So let's say that even you are studying maybe mechanical engineering, and you could find some of the courses within economy in one of our other programs interesting, you're actually free to choose that course. The only thing that can be bad is that there can be overlapping courses, right? And if there are overlapping courses, then you need to change the courses, and you can change courses for the 2 first weeks here at our university, which also means that you can actually experience the course before you make the final choice, because we do see that students show up for the first lesson and then figure out, well, this might be too difficult for me, or this was not what I was intended to do, and then you can actually switch the course. It's also possible we have 4 other faculties. It's also possible to follow courses from the other faculties, at least a couple of them, of course, if you can get accepted by those faculties. So it's easy to find the information you need for this. So the summer school is the first 2 weeks of August, and we have a lot of students coming from Asia, because what you can say is that would always be a cheaper way to experience Denmark and Europe, because it's for a shorter period, right? Of course, the travel would cost the same, but everything else would, of course, be cheaper because it's a shorter period. You actually gain 5 ECTS, which equals 1 course also at your university in 2 weeks. And it's quite popular, this summer school, because it's for free. More or less all other summer schools that you see in Europe are quite expensive. This is a free one because we are partners with you. And there are plenty of technical courses to choose from, because the Faculty of Engineering actually delivers the majority of the courses in this summer school. We expect there will be 500-600 students from 30+ countries. Half of the students will actually be Danish, and half of the students will be international. I do believe that's kind of great because I mean, if you come to Denmark, it could be nice also to meet some and have some Danish friends, right? If you are a master student or becoming a master student and really would like to gain some knowledge about research in Denmark, then this is really a good opportunity. And why I think it's a good opportunity is that this is also very easy for you. It's just as easy as it would be to sign in for an exchange semester with courses. It's just as easy to sign in for an exchange semester where you're actually joining a research group. And that's because we have some pre-designed projects or research projects that you can actually look at. So it's mostly for master students. In some few cases, we have actually accepted bachelor students, but they would be in the very last semester. It can be combined with courses. As soon as you combine it with courses, you have to follow the academic calendar because then you have to follow the timeline where the courses are running. But if you're only doing the research, you can actually come whenever it fits you, but for at least 3 months, right? And what you will do is that you will be a true part of a research group. So you're not going to be one of those who are going to make coffee for the researchers or clean or whatever. No, you're actually going to work together with them. And in the beginning, you're going to agree with the professor what you're actually working with. It can also be combined with the thesis. And I can say that 1/3 of the students that come for these kind of stays, they actually make the final thesis, the master thesis at the same time. You will get credit for it. So it's not like an internship. It is actually a research day where you are enrolled as a student. So you will bring back credits for your home university. This is just an example of a student. He's from Philippines. He was here for the last semester. I spoke with him a couple of times. He was actually a really bright student. So I was really happy that we could have him here because he really did some great work. But he was in our Department of Green Technology doing exchange. And he was really interested in bringing knowledge back to Philippines about sustainable aviation fuel. And we have one of the best professors and one of the best departments in the world actually working exactly with this area. And also, I mean, to gain understanding about how is research actually performed in Denmark, because it's probably different than it is in Thailand. So you could bring back some knowledge to your university and to Thailand, which can actually be beneficial. Here you can actually see which predefined research topics is available. And there should be something that if you are studying engineering, there should be something that would maybe touch your interest. And the fun thing is that even though it might mention, for example, robotics in the headline, right? It doesn't mean that it's only for robotics students, because a lot of these projects actually can host students from various academic backgrounds. And you can see that this bio-inspired robotics, it mentions there that it can be students within robotics, computer science, mechatronics, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, artificial engineering, computer, and so on. So in each of these programs, there might actually be possibilities for you if you're interested in coming and doing research here. A few practical things, of course. For the academic calendar, there's quite a good match with Thammasat, so there's no problem there. We guarantee accommodation for the student that decide to come here. It's a matter about a choice that they make or you make when you do the application. You just have to tick off that you would like accommodation, and we actually make sure that you would have that. Most of the accommodation is in dormitories around the city, and they are quite nice actually. So I think you would find them at a high level. And you, of course, you stay together with students from both from Denmark, but also from the rest of the world. I also have to mention that it's not necessary to have a TOEFL or IELTS test, because in many of the universities around the world, you would have to have that. I don't know if you have it already, but if you don't have, you would definitely have to pay for it. And you also have to pass the test, of course. But if you study by our university, you don't need to have that one. Denmark of course, is like everybody else in the world when it comes to friends, social happenings, parties, going to the city, discotheques. It's the same as the rest of the world. And you can also, when you come as a student here, you can decide that you would like to have a Danish buddy. So that means that the person will actually help you in the beginning to navigate around the city and the university, right? If you are concerned about ranking, we are quite well ranked also. We are, it's always a matter about how you present numbers, right? But we can say that we are within the top 1.5% of universities in the world. When you look at the ranking, you know that very often it depends on the research and the Nobel Prize takers and all these kind of things. But what I would claim, at least if you're going for teaching, you should find a place where the teaching are really good. And we are actually number 28 in the best teaching in Europe, and that's based on some kind of feedback from students all over Europe. So that's kind of good. Aside from that, we are more or less number 300 in the world. And I just looked up before this presentation, but I think that Thammasat is 600 to 700. So we are a little bit better. But for us Danes, it doesn't mean so much, but maybe for you guys, it means something. That was why I mentioned it here. Teaching here is applied science, which actually means that we try a lot to let you work with the theory that we apply, or that we teach actually. I was a professor for many years, and I was never speaking in the class for more than 20 minutes. Then I always somehow involved the student in some kind of activities to make them understand what I just presented. So that could be one way of doing this teaching. Of course, my colleagues are doing different, but all of them are actually performing applied science. So it's interactive learning. So you're not going to sit just by yourself listening all the time. You would actually have to be active. And maybe I don't know exactly how it is in Thailand, but for many of the exchange students, that's new. Also, the professors actually like you to ask a lot of questions, because that tells them if you actually understood or what is difficult to understand. So there's a lot of discussion going on during the classes here, and you work a lot in groups also together with other students. Even it's a normal lesson. During that lesson, there will be group work, there will be small projects, because many of our lessons here are actually nearly 4 hours. So that actually opens up to do other things than just sit and watch PowerPoint and listen actually. So there will be a lot of activities going on. If you're not studying, then there are a lot of things you can do in the city of Odense. It's actually quite a nice city. There are 300,000 inhabitants, so it's quite a nice large city. There's a lot of cultural activities, of course, but just around the university, there is we have an indoor swimming pool that is for free for students, with various sports going on, which you can join. We have a fitness center that costs nearly nothing for students. We have a soccer club, just basically at the premises of the university, and you can join in if you want to be a part of that. And we also have the world's best outdoor flexible sports facility. So if you're into sport, there are actually really good opportunities here. So that was the end of my presentation. So I'll just say, why not come and visit the happy country, Denmark, and see why we are so concerned about environmentals and why we are so happy, and how our system are built and how the teaching is done here. Because the best thing would be for you if it was completely different from home, because then you can put things into perspective, right? Because you never know if something is good or bad until you have seen something else. So that was my last words concerning this presentation. I'll stop sharing my screen.
All right, so thank you very much to Professor Henrik for a very, very nice presentation, including all attractive photos, which I believe that our students wish to visit SDU once in their lifetime, because this is the most happy living country. So why not, right? So let's try to go and visit there as the exchange student over there. So actually, I have list a lot of questions to ask, but actually some questions that are supposed to ask already got the answer surprisingly as well. For example, guarantee for accommodation, right? So that means all exchange students, when you join the exchange program at SDU, they will be sure and rely that they will have no problem in terms of searching for accommodation, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So far, just for our student information, this semester we have 11 SIT students to join SDU, and so far it seems that no problem at all for them, and they enjoy a lot for joining SDU. And since I found that in southern Denmark, people use a lot of bicycle. So do they need to, I mean, in terms of the exchange student, do they need to buy or rent? Which one is normally preferable?
That's a possibility, right? Some students, they manage without having a bike because maybe it depends on where they live. Maybe they live so close that actually that they can walk to the university. And we have what we can call maybe a kind of sky train that goes directly from the university towards the city and the city center and around the city. So depending on where you live, you might be able just to jump into the SkyTrain. But actually, there's a lot of students that want to have bikes. And the nice thing is that as a lot of exchange students actually buy bikes, they also have to sell them again, right? So the used bikes are actually, it's quite easy to find them. In some of the dormitories, actually the one that is very close to here, they can rent a bike. They have a basement with bikes, and they just have to sign up for it, and it's quite inexpensive because it's a cheap and very flexible way to get around. And as the city are organized for.
All right. So the network is a bit busy from that side. I can't just wait a moment. So actually, at least that's good to know that you will have chance to rent a used bike somehow, right? That would be great. And also
can I say something?
Sure,
and
sure.
It's actually because what I'm very often doing when my own students are asking questions, could be, for example, about going to SIIT. I always put them in contact with the student that actually was there the last semester.
Okay.
That's a really, really nice way to get, all the best advices for a student that was just there. And as there are so many students here from Thailand right now, I mean, if anybody is going, then they could truly benefit from speaking to those guys or girls before going.
Right. Thank you so much. And I agree with you that it's better to let them to get real experience from the student to each student. And also Professor Henry also mentioned about the summer school program. I can say that so far what I have the information now, SDU is the only one university that I know that they offer the summer school program without any fee. Without any fee, mean normally for the summer or winter program from the university, they have some fee for joining a short period of staying during your summer or winter semester. But in SDU, they offer the summer school program, which you will be able to get some credit, even though you will transfer or not, but you can join for free without the participant fee, but of course you need to pay for the living expense, for traveling expense. But this is a good opportunity in case if students don't want to spend in a whole semester abroad or in some other country, but you can visit SDU during the summer semester under the summer school program, and join with a lot of international students who come from everywhere around the world, because I have found that the number of the students is quite big in each year for the summer program. So I think this is very good opportunity to visit the most happy living country, the happiness country like this in SDU. All right.
Can I add a comment?
Sure, please.
No, it's just it's a great opportunity, of course, to see Denmark and come and visit SDU. But from other students, I remember a bunch of Indonesian students coming to my office just when they finished the summer school here, and I said, "Oh, so you're going back to Indonesia now?" No, are you crazy? We are going to see Berlin, we are going to see Paris, we are going to see Milano. We have a week, so we are a little bit busy. We're a little bit busy, but we can manage. So actually, what I hear is that many students, they actually spend a little bit more time to see whatever they find interesting in Europe, because after all, it takes only maybe 1, 2, 3 hours to fly, right?
Right. So what is the nearest city apart from the area of southern Denmark? In which country that you're close to for traveling around? I mean, after the program.
But that would typically, we are pretty close to Germany. I mean, we're just in the middle of Norway, Sweden, and Germany. But again, it doesn't take a long time. If you want to go to Poland, if you want to go to Paris, you can fly to Paris in 1.5 hours.
Yeah.
You just take a bus from here, 1 hour, and then in the small airport you can fly directly to Paris. And it's just as inexpensive as actually it is in Asia, because we have similar airlines as AirAsia, for example.
I see, for the cheaper airline, right?
Yeah.
So this is what our students always do, maybe before or after the semester, academic semester in the partner university. They want to get experience before coming back home, so they just spend 1 or 2 weeks more to visit each city or each country nearby the host university that they join the exchange program. So this is quite good. Now we have the question from the student in the chat box asking about can I continue part of my master research within the exchange from September to December if selected? And do I need to do some coursework as well? Yes, that this is the master student.
Yeah. The thing is that the minimum time to stay in a research group will be 3 months, which actually equals 20 ECTS credits. And that's more or less, it's 2/3 of a workload for a semester. And the reason why we say that is that if you come only for a short period, both the professor but also the student wouldn't benefit so much from the stay. You simply, to put quality into it, you simply have to stay for at least 3 months. That will actually give the opportunity to basically to be involved in some of the activity. Let's say you only come for a month. What can you do in a month in a research group? Yeah, you can do small things in a lab, and that's it. So if really you wanted to be a part of something, it should be minimum 3 months, and that's why we have decided that.
Okay, minimum 3 months. And if it the student also asks if some course, if they need to do some coursework as well. I mean, in terms of joining SDU as the internship student, I guess.
Yeah.
So is it necessary?
It's a good question actually. In a few, I think it's within our chemical engineering group, they have this system that they say that if the student is not directly qualified based on the student's background, it can be combined with first following some of the courses within chemical engineering. But in general, that's not the normal thing here. If you are a master's student, you just apply, and then the professor, he will evaluate if the qualification that you have is actually good enough or fit into what they're doing. And so far, they didn't reject any student actually.
Wow, good to hear that. Just for our student information, we also have the graduate student program who are now applying to join SDU as the internship student. And also luckily that there are also some scholarship for the graduate student to join as well. So soon we will have the graduate student, master student to join SDU under the internship program and receive the Erasmus scholarship as well. So, and the next question, is it possible to enroll the course from different campus if they join each?
No, you cannot follow courses on more campuses than one, because it takes, by train, it takes 1.5 hours, maybe a little bit more, to go from one campus to another. So that wouldn't be possible. I mean, you should be it would also be a little bit expensive, right? But you should be really lucky if that should be possible. So we normally say you can only choose courses from one campus.
For a whole semester, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And in which campus that the student, our exchange student mostly stay?
They stay mostly in the main campus, which is in Odense. And the reason for that is that there are the majority of courses available. There are actually also quite many courses in the other campus, but it's just within a limited number of academic fields, right? So it's within electronics, it's within mechatronics, and then it will also that's in the future, but also would be within computer science. So it's a little bit more limited. That's why not so many exchange students go there. But the reason why we have so many international students is actually that the majority of the full degree students there are actually coming from around the world.
All right, all right. And the next question from the student, I guess that this student is supposed to be like a exchange student in our period for the exchange track, which means they will join the second semester, which is the spring semester now, right? And then if it's possible to join summer school right after they finish the full semester in SDU.
I would say that if you follow our autumn semester, that would be possible, because in August, then the first 2 weeks of August, that would be the summer school, and you would only have to wait actually 1.5 weeks before the introduction week and the semester would start. So that would fit very well. And of course that is possible. Then you could actually lower the workload during the semester, because you already took one course out of typically the sixth course that the student should follow. So that could be possible. But the opposite way around, in the spring, wouldn't be so good, because you would have to spend the whole summer in Denmark, because you would typically be finished in end of June. So then you would have to stay in Denmark for a longer time at least. I have never seen any student do that, but of course it's in theoretical, it's possible.
In case if you want to traveling around and then come back for summer school, who knows?
For sure.
Right. So then Professor Henrik just suggests that students better join summer school first, and then later they apply to the autumn semester, right?
But maybe that was just how I thought it in my head, right? But I can see that it definitely would be possible if the student were capable of managing, of course, doing something for maybe 5-6 weeks.
Right. But anyway, from SIT side, our fourth year student will join spring semester. And then I think that the student may just supposed to join later on. But as Professor Henrik suggests, that you may need to wait a bit longer time in order to join the summer school. But anyway, if student can manage the time, let's see, right? And also the question from our student in the chat box asks about, I think that this student maybe in the master, maybe can I use the resource such as lab facilities to support the research at SDU, I guess, in case of doing the internship?
Yes, of course. I mean, I just have to state that we don't call it internship. We call it actually a research day. Because it's a term that is a little bit different, at least at our university. But I mean, if you come to do research here, and you are part of a research group, and of course, if it makes sense to whatever kind of research that you're involved in, or whatever kind of project that you are involved in, to use the lab equipment, it's obvious that you can do that. And typically, the professors are quite interested in what the students are doing, because that might some way actually support also what's going on. Among the researchers in that department. So it's actually two-way beneficial, right? The student come and learn from the researchers, but also very often you see that the students are performing some kind of research job or lab work actually that will be beneficial for the department. That's why I actually managed to set up so many predefined programs, and I've seen many cases where the professors were really happy for receiving students. We had one student that came, actually, she was very interested. We have a professor who is going to solve the world food problem by turning things that you would never believe you can eat into something that is eatable and healthy. And one of the ways they do that is actually by 3D printing food. And he had a student from Holland that actually joined him for nearly a whole year, working in his lab, 3D printing food. And that made sense. That also fit together what she actually were working with, or actually wanted to do in her final life.
Right. Yeah. Student also mean about the research. All right. All right. So any question else from our student in this meeting room? Actually, we're gonna share the information to the student who cannot join the session today as well via our YouTube channel. Right. I think that today we heard here a lot about the information, the attractive information about SDU. So I believe that this presentation inspire a lot to the student, even from the live session here or and after when we presented to our YouTube channel. So there would be more and more student interest to SDU. All right. Is there any question else? Because now we are running out of time now, I guess. Yeah. All right. So maybe that next time Professor Henrik will visit SIIT again and have like on-site presentation to our student, which I believe our student are looking forward to attend your presentation about SDU again, right?
Thank you very much, Jalika, and thank you for always being so professional and kind.
Thank you so much. And also on behalf of SIIT, we would like to thanks to Professor Henrik, who kindly organized everything and to support the opportunity for SIIT students, including the scholarship, the opportunity for our students to join the Southern Denmark, to join SDU for the exchange program, for the research opportunity, and for everything. So we hope that you will be able to join us in the next session. And we really hope that we will be able to send the qualified student. And please consider our student in the next round again for the next spring semester. So thank you very much for today and have a nice evening, Professor.
Thank you very much. I wish you all a good day.
Thank you very much. ค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ